Internet, Captain Erica here, coming at you with a knife review. We've got the Condor SBK today, and I'm very excited to be doing this knife review. This is designed by Diez of Diez Knives. I have been meaning to do this review forever, so if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you might have seen my community post about it forever ago. Anyway, it's hard to get out to the woods by yourself when you have little kids, but today I'm out by myself, which is very exciting, so let's just get into the knife review. I have not used this knife. Sometimes before a knife review I'll use it a little bit, but I think we're just going to jump into it, get to know the knife, and see how it is. So let's do it. Okay, found a place to sit down. My tripod is a little bit too short. So let's talk about how this knife came to be. So the Condor SBK, designed by Diez of Diez Knives. If you have been on the knife internet, blade forums and stuff like that for a while, you may recognize 710 custom sheaths. So Julio started making sheaths for people years ago, and his business has just gotten so much bigger since then. He went from sheaths to he makes his own knives, and he still does sheaths, and he also designs for Condor now, which is really cool. So he actually I got to talk to him on the phone and kind of see how this knife came to be, and the original is actually this one. It's in a lefty sheath, so watch me awkwardly pull this out because I am a righty. But this is the 710 topper, and so this was a knife that was the original SBK knife, and they're very similar. The handle is just a tad smaller, but very similar. So I thought that was kind of neat that he sent me the topper to look at. But I'm not going to use that one today. Today we're just going to focus on the SBK. And you know, Julio makes all of his own sheaths, so super cool. This one, how did he even get to design this knife? Let me backtrack a little bit. So his business was getting bigger. He was featured in Blade magazine. And then he was asked by Condor to do some knife or sheath work for them, and then he asked them if he could do some knife design work, and so they said, okay, we'll make 100 of some designs, and then see what happens. And so now he has a whole bunch of designs. I'll kind of put a little picture in here of some of his designs, other things that he has on Condor's site. But so far his designs are doing great, so that's really cool. The process to get this knife manufactured by a manufacturing company takes some time, so he submitted designs in 2017, and then it was 2019 before things started happening. And so he had called it the topper when it was his knife, and so they had him rename the knife, and that's why it's called the SBK. And the reason why it's called the SBK, straight back knife. So that's why. That's what Julio said. I thought that was kind of funny because it's very simple. It is a straight back knife. And the reason why this particular knife also he started making, he said, was he showed Ethan Becker. So if you guys have been in the knife world also, you probably know who Ethan Becker is, from Becker Knife and Tool. He showed Ethan Becker some designs, like a drop point and some stuff, and Ethan pointed at the straight back knife and said that would be the interesting one to make and design. So that's super cool. And since then, you know, it's been a few years. It's 2021 right now. He already has more new designs since then. So this was new when I got it a couple years ago, but sorry Julio, this video took forever to do. Anyway, this knife, I have printed out the specs, and I'm gonna overlay a nice pretty screenshot for you guys. But Condor Knife and Tool, it is 1075 high carbon steel. The blade itself is 5.3 inches long, so it's kind of big. For bushcraft, I would say this is a bigger blade. It's not huge, but overall length is 10.5 inches. And it weighs 15.2 ounces, so not quite a pound. And it comes with this really great sheath. This sheath you can do dangler, you can clip it to your belt. There's a fire steel loop. This stuff is leather, and then the sheath itself is Kydex. And I'm trying to, my focus here is, so very beefy. The knife goes in and it stays in, so that's great. Let's see what it does, because that's the next step. It looks cool, but what does it do? All right, before we get too far into this, I gotta spray some bug spray. Okay, so we're doing just some sharpness stuff real quick. This is factory edge, out of the box. I haven't touched it. Got some printer paper. Let's just see what it does. I'm not like a big finicky person about knife sharpness, but I know that lots of people do this paper test, so. Seems pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good out of the box sharpness. Let's also cut a tomato, because, like, you know, cutting tomatoes seems to be the in the kitchen way to see if your knife is sharp enough. So let's switch to that. Okay, my tomatoes aren't ready yet, so we're gonna test on this store-bought tomato. See what this can do. This out of the box here. Okay, not bad. Oh, it's not like razor sharp, but it's pretty dang sharp. So now we have some slices tomato eat. There's these two trees, and Cameron was talking to me and he said, why don't you build an emergency shelter with that knife? Because it's kind of big, like a survival knife. And I said, okay, so I'm gonna try to do that. So 15 minutes later, this is my emergency shelter structure skeleton. This is not complete. And so my thoughts are, I have a ground tarp with me, but I didn't bring my shelter, so I'm making myself a little rain-proof area. So I've done this before, is made a debris hut with fern fronds. But I'm not here to destroy this forest. I had permission in the one I was doing that in. But if I were in an actual like scenario where I wanted to kind of put some shingles on my roof, I would cut off a bunch of these fronds and layer them nicely on my shelter. So I'm just going to cut a few just for demonstration purposes with this knife and show you what I would do. So just a strong cut off handfuls, and pile them up like that. So I'm just going to do a few so that I don't wreck the forest here. Just going to lay them out here like this, and I would just cut tons of them and just lay them on here like that. It takes time to do this kind of stuff, but you could put something together in an hour in this environment that would keep you at least somewhat dry, especially since we're under trees during a rain shower. So let's do some other stuff with the knife that we might be doing while we're out here. One of the things that you would be doing with a bushcrafty type knife, such as this one, may be scraping a ferro rod. It is fire season out here, so I'm not going to be lighting a full fire, But I am going to scrape this ferro rod very carefully and keep an eye on my little sparks, just to show you a 90-degree, the spine, I mean the whole thing is 90 degrees all the way down to the tip. Just see if it scrapes very good or not. So let's just try it out. Okay, it does create sparks. In comparison, I have the striker. I feel like the striker is a little bit better than this spine. There's a coating on this blade. It's like a light, thin, kind of painted on coating, which a lot of high carbon steel blades come with so that they don't have as much issue with rust. After using this knife, you would want to coat it with mineral oil or something like that. But I'm not sure if that, it seems like if that was worn off a little bit, this would scrape a little better. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, hold on, let me zoom in here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but I kind of scraped off some of the paint right there, because then the spine itself doesn't have any paint on it, but there's paint on the blade. As soon as that started wearing off, I was getting a spark. Let's see here. That same spot. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, to be expected of high carbon steel, it can scrape a ferro rod just fine, and it's sharp enough out of the factory. As soon as you start wearing that paint off, you're gonna get a nice spark. This wouldn't be a knife review on the internet if I didn't baton with the knife. So I grabbed this obnoxiously large log, you can see here, for this knife. And of course, there will be a comment, there has to be a comment of someone being like, well, if you just brought an axe, you'd never baton with a knife, or you don't need to baton with a knife, and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that sentiment. However, Julio did say he kind of had batoning in mind. And I personally think that the straight back, I mean, it kind of wants to be batoned because it's just a nice flat surface there that you can hit with a stick. Let's do it. Okay, there's already kind of a natural split in this piece that I sawed off, so I don't think we're jeopardizing the blade in any way. Okay. I'm going to make some sticks for feather sticking. I'm just checking the edge. It's only one log, but edge, edge is fine, so that's cool. Let's do some feather sticking. Okay, I got a little platform set up here so I can set up and do some feather sticks. Now I haven't sharpened this since I just did all that. So let's just see what it can do. You know, this grind, this Scandi grind, is real nice. You could sharpen this up like wicked sharp, really easy. I'm kind of biting a little bit too deep into this wood, but it's, it's cutting it. Let me see if I can get my technique honed in a little bit. Let's see. Start up a little higher. This is fir wood. I don't know if you care or not. Okay, still biting in. I just gotta let it do the work here. Okay, I just gotta stop pushing so hard. Just let it do the work. That's a little better. See, if I do it lightly, I have a tendency to let it, the curls to fall off. Oops. Gotta relax, just let it do it. Okay, we're getting some action here. Definitely kind of warming up to this knife. It's a little bit bigger than what I usually use, but I'm liking the Scandi grind, and obviously maybe a little bit of sharpness, like sharpening would help, but I think my technique is not exactly stellar, and this is, the more I'm kind of getting into the groove here, the more I'm starting to feel how this works. I could certainly, even if I have never used this knife before, get a fire going. See how I'm already improving on stick 3 here. Let's see if we can just keep going. So very happy about that. The ergonomics are also quite good. They're simple, but also not just like your real basic handle. The handle here, there's a little bit of curve, but it still kind of has that, it's flat right here. So here and here you can see it's pretty flat. There's a little bit of an indent. Anyway, it's nice ergonomics. It was perfect like in my gloves, and then my Carta's nice and grippy. I don't have any major complaints about it. Is it perfect? Maybe not for me perfect, but it's a nice little knife. I honestly, this is all going a little bit better than I expected. I'm really pleased. Okay, we'll sit right by the janky, partially done emergency shelter. Let's do a conclusion. I'm running out of time. I wish I could just stay out here all day long, but I do have to get back to the family. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm rusty on making videos. I'm rusty on knife reviews. So I'm hoping I did this knife justice. This knife has definitely exceeded my expectations a little bit. I was not hesitant that this would be a good knife or something, but I was a little bit like, it's a bit big for me, but I'm liking it. I like the Scandi grind. I love this like straight flat back. I could see it being kind of good for like scraping stuff, which I should have done. I just didn't think of it. It's sturdy as heck. I mean, the sheath is sturdy as heck. Like, you don't have to worry about that. And I batoned, and I, chopped off lots of little sticks off of logs, and we did feather sticks, and I cut, did the sharpness stuff in the beginning. I should do a little paper test actually right now. Oh, I have a little thinner piece of paper. This is some line paper. Let's see here. So, oh, okay, well, maybe not so bad. Okay, well, there you go. The edge seems fine. Like, this isn't a CPM 3V blah, 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 it's a very functional steel, very functional blade. And I'm not particularly skillful in my whacking on sticks, and I don't have any, there's no like rolls or chunks or anything missing on my blade so far. So that's great. I think if you guys are looking for a knife, mentally I kind of put this into the like survival-y knife category, not quite in the craft category. But that Scandi grind was cutting into those feather sticks okay, so maybe I wasn't giving it enough credit. It's a great knife. It has like pirate vibes. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know if it's just the way that it looks or what, but it's got this, maybe it's like, in, you know, pirate movies, they like stick the knife between their teeth, and since it's like a nice flat straight, like almost like a old kitchen knife or something, I don't know. Anyway, it's a cool blade, for sure. Definitely, if you're shopping around, I'll put like all the links. I'll put like an Amazon link, and I'll put Julio's website and Condor's website and all that stuff down below so that you can go access that information. So thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed getting out and doing this review. I'd like to do more of this stuff. We'll see kind of how, as the kids get older, it'll be easier. You know, my daughter is still nursing and stuff like that, so I can't be away forever. But I was really just so excited to get out and do this one today. So I'm just gonna go dink around a little bit, and then I gotta get home to my babies. So thanks guys for watching. Peace.